Fantastic. So let's go into the next piece here and do in the headlines. Let's just take a look at some of the stories that have been fleshed out for you on the front pages of your local dailies. And with me, I have the Star newspaper on the front page. Mount Kenya tough times in State House battle. Mount Kenya tough times in State House battle. Leaders working on a blueprint to be presented to all presidential hopefuls. That story continues in the newspaper. There you can take a look at that story. Equity in representation, revenue sharing, and political party pluralism are some of the demands that are being fronted by the Mount Kenya leaders, which is now a caucus now led by NAK Kenya party leader Martha Karua. Still on the front page, Deputy President Ruto to unveil his hustlers blueprint next month. Deputy President Ruto to unveil his hustlers blueprint next month. That is on the front page. And we have got pictorials there of Willie Kimani murder case. The accused now have a case to answer. These are AP Leonard Mwangi, Stephen Cheburet, and Frederick Leliman in a Melimani Law Court where they appeared yesterday, and Justice Lasit ruled that they have a case to answer. They have got their pictures there put there for you. Now, 5 accused of Willie Kimani murder case have a case to answer. Court says prosecution proved a prima facie case against them. The 4 police officers and a civilian accused of killing IJM lawyer Willie Kimani and 2 others now have the uphill task of proving their innocence. So Justice Lesit ruled that after going through all the evidence provided by the prosecution, she found that each of the accused persons had a case to answer. The case still continues. Ruto to unveil his hustlers blueprint next month. The DP said that the agenda will carry the aspirations and wishes of Kenyans under the bottom-up economic model. This will then be consolidated into a charter to be formally unveiled early next year. Ruto, who spoke at the end of a 2-day retreat with politicians, professionals, and grassroots leaders from Ukambani, said the hustlers blueprint will be a binding agreement between Kenyans and his government if he succeeds President Uhuru Kenyatta in the next year's presidential poll. And quickly on health matters here, only facilities giving 500 jabs weekly to stock Pfizer vaccine. In addition, the duration of travel from the regional stores to the vaccination center will also be taken. Center should not take more than 7 hours. On Friday, Kenya received 795,600 Pfizer doses of the expected 1.4 million donated by the U.S. government under the COVAX facility. Now, another consignment of 1.2 million doses is expected to arrive in the country in the coming weeks. Now, there's that story there of that Muslim cleric who was the scholar who was abducted. So, freed Muslim scholar confused says that he could sleep for 3 days. Scholar Abdi Wahab Sheikh Abdi Samad is back to his family in Nairobi after being abducted on September 8th. The 55-year-old Somali citizen was released on Sunday to his family. People who spoke to him says that he feels confused and exhausted, but he's grateful that he's free. He was abducted at about 10 a.m. as he left his car and walked to a hotel on Tubman Road near City Market on Nairobi CBD. He was taken out of Nairobi, and he said that he did not know where he was taken to. Now, the scholar was reportedly asked a number of questions again and again to, that's according to him. He also said that he's the executive director of the Institute for Horn of Africa Strategic Studies and an analyst at Southlink Consultants. He has commented on power struggles between Somalia President Mohamed Farmajo and Prime Minister Mohamed Robe. So according to him and according to the intelligence, the questioning involved terrorism and money laundering to finance it. He was also shown men's pictures and asked if they contributed in instability in Somalia. He was also asked about land he bought in Karen, according to sources close to him. So we are just getting, you know, the nitty-gritties of what happened during his abduction, but he says that he's happy he's back to his family. I'll tell you what Mount Kenya leaders are trying to play, and the story says that Mount Kenya leaders play hardball on aspirants eyeing regional votes. I will give you more details as we continue with the program. Jen.
Right, let's now come to the Daily Nation. Not too busy today. We start with the story here on the header concerning abductions that have been on an upward trajectory in the recent past, and now the question is, why won't victims say a word about their captors? This is something that has been noticed in a number of abduction cases where some people are abducted, they go missing for a month or two, then their abductors willingly release them, but the victims do not say a word about their captors, where they were, or what they went through during that period, in an effort to try and create more awareness and to assist the authorities. Now the question is that most critics are asking is, why won't victims say a word? And this is also in line with the most recent abduction that happened to businessman Abdul Hakim. Abdul Hakim, who was abducted, was missing for about a month before he was released at will by his abductors. His family and friends and even lawyers are yet to disclose any details about the 1-month captivity that he was under. And there has been multiple appeals through the media for the release of the information, but nothing has come forth so far. So what really is going on in regards to these abduction cases? Moving on to some politics, UDA preparing for the big test, which has been termed as the litmus test, as they prepare for the grassroots elections in the coming month, a time where they will have to prove a lot. Number one, in some areas, they will have to sort of show that there isn't any favoritism going on among those that are allied to the deputy president. And a key area that has been actually highlighted is in Nakuru, between the factions of Senator Susan Kihika and Bahati MP Kimani Ngunjiri, to just show that no one is being favored when it comes to these grassroots elections. Then another challenge that they are hoping to not have to face is the infiltration by spies that are either going to use this time to get information as moles or disrupt the elections as they will be underway in the next month. Activity that might trigger a fallout in the UDA party. Coming to the main read on the front page of the Daily Nation, return of the Iron Lady. Love that picture of Martha Karua right there. Return of the Iron Lady. She has been out of elective office since 2013 and successfully challenging Waigoro's election back in 2017. But now, Miss Martha Karua is set for an influential role in the succession of President Kenyatta. As the race continues to heat up, she has been endorsed as the official spokesperson for the Mount Kenya Unity Forum as of yesterday. So we are going to be giving you more details as these stories have been covered here on the different dailies. Doreen.
21st September 2013, 8 years later, one of those dark days here in our country. That is because of the Westgate attack that took 67 lives and 175 were wounded. So even as we mark 8 years, there's a story here, an article actually to be specific, that highlights the tale of one Ben Mulwa, who did not watch this event as it unfolded, perhaps as most of us did, but was actually there, still has those wounds. How is he living? How is he reliving life? How is he picking up the pieces? That is what that particular article highlights. We also have the story concerning education, and this in regards to the CBC, where the parents lobby now wants to join that CBC case. That is the National Parents Association. We also had that particular story during the GMK news brief, and now they are just backing CBC, of course, continuing to say that CBC is here to stay, and parents who are still perhaps in argument here and there, they need to embrace that. Also just trying to say, if perhaps we revert back to the 844 system, what happens to those children who are already in that system? That is those from grade 1 1 to grade 5 there. We again have the BBI as well as the fuel prices, which are actually going to be the top of the agenda as the House resumes. That is today. That is going to form a conversation, better still a debate, as the House resumes today. And again, ward representatives and also MCAs now reignite a conversation and a debate of renaming Mbagathi Way after the former premier, that is Raila Odinga. We've seen that, of course, across, whereby most roads, especially here in Nairobi, are named after prominent persons. Key in point like Wayaki Way, there's the Haile Selassie Avenue, there's the Agwex Codex. So there's now a conversation that is just also going to take shape in the House on whether or not to rename Mbagathi Way after Raila Odinga. And this is because of the works that he did, especially in between 2005 and 2006 when he was the Minister of Roads, and how instrumental at that time he was. So there's also that particular conversation there, as well as SMEs now score big as court quashes the new tax formula, that is the minimum tax there, which was declared unconstitutional as well as illegal by Justice Odunga. So a bit of a reprieve there for small and medium scale enterprises after that particular ruling. Ray.
Now, as we work towards, just bringing this to a close, just to give you an update on what you should be expecting from our news desk this morning, is that the National Assembly resumes today for the third part of this session. And this is after a brief hiatus to a full entry, with sittings scheduled to run up until December 2nd, when the House is expected to break for the Christmas holidays. Now, top on the agenda is going to be the NHIF bill that, forms top priority. And some of the issues that have been handled in this, some of the amendments that have been put there in this particular bill, also is the issue of the consideration of, the facilities, or rather the medical facilities there, where there's a process of a bill making. Interest has been drawn to the proposed law by some, the health, as well as the leader of majority party and other legislators. Where do you select this accredited facility? Why do you have only to choose one, and such? So we're going to be focusing on what is going to be happening in Parliament there. The NHIF bill, taking center stage in regard to that, at a time when, Kenyans have been asking, we are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Why then does an NHIF pay for such? Those are the questions that we expect to be coming at the floor of the House when they resume Parliament this morning, and we have a whole crew ready on standby to just bring me up to speed with the live pictures from the August House there. Further on at 11 a.m., Health Cabinet Secretary will be appearing before the Departmental Committee of Health. That's the Departmental Health Committee at around 11 a.m. to just, answer to questions on matters of health as far as, handling the COVID-19 situation is concerned. Further on, we have an update of what was happening yesterday there, and this is a fire that, there was an fire incident at the Ofafa School, Ofafa Jericho, where now 32 students were taken to the Metropolitan Hospital. Out of this, 2 were evacuated to Avenue Hospital, 2 evacuated to the Meridian Hospital. 1 student sustained a fracture, while 3 students were taken to Jericho as well as other hospitals. No deaths have been reported. No burns, majorly smoke inhalation and such. Remember, we are going to be keeping tabs on this as well as other developing stories as we get them. Remember, further details are also available on our website. That is www.kbc.co.ke. I'm Regina Manyara, and I wish you a pleasant viewing ahead.